I'm a bad motherfucker.
My favorite things. This guy, Defiant L. So these are Defiant L's. This is Robert Reich. Now, if you don't know who he was Bill Clinton's, I think, Secretary of Labor, maybe. He was a Secretary of something, Labor or Economic, I don't know, something. I guess we could find out. Can you find out? Anyway, and you see him all the time being a pundit, and here he is. He says, this is from July 31st, 2021. He says, let's get one thing straight. Freedom doesn't mean you have the right to recklessly endanger others by refusing to get vaccinated. And then, just 1 year later, he says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but every person should have control over their own body. Well, apparently you need to hear that. Just when you thought you could put your faith in a guy called Reich. Huh? He lives up to his name. You know, in certain circles, he's referred to as the Turd Reich. And he is, yes, he was the Secretary of Labor under Bill Clinton. And that beard cannot hide the fact that he has more chins than standards. Here you go. I'd like to play this for you now. So, I mean, and these people with a straight face, they want to be taken seriously. And he's never apologized. He's never apologized for that. And then he says this. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but every person should have control. He's talking about abortion. Mm-hmm. So that's why you see the people who used to call themselves pro-choice, they now call themselves pro-abortion because they're not pro-choice. They don't think you have a choice. They used to be my body, my choice. Now it's my body, the government's choice, or your choice. So if whoever's choice, it's not my choice anymore. If you get scared enough, you can force your choice on me. So the people who used to, I'm still pro-choice. I will never be as big of a cretin to call myself pro-abortion. If you call yourself pro-abortion, there's something wrong with you. Because that's a horrific thing. And if you enjoy abortions, then you need help. You're a psychopath if you enjoy abortions. When something's horrible, you refer to it as an abortion. Oh, you see that movie was an abortion. Nobody ever refers to something good as an abortion. I'm pro-choice, meaning I want the government to stay out from in between the patient and the doctor. And it's none of my business. That's pro-choice. And listen to all the people who used to say they were pro-choice and then flipped on a dime once Big Pharma told them to push a mandated experimental medical treatment. Watch this.
The People's Party is the party of the Charter of Rights. The People's Party is the party of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It defines us the way it defines this country.
Enforcement measures in place will make sure that everyone is vaccinated.
A woman's right to a choice in this matter is a charter right, is upheld by the Constitution.
Everyone needs to get vaccinated, and those people are putting us all at risk.
We do not accept that a government could legislate away a woman's fundamental rights.
Don't think you can get on a plane or a train besides vaccinated people and put them at risk.
American women today have less freedom than their mothers. Radical Republicans are charging ahead with their crusade to criminalize health freedom. There are those on the other side of the aisle who have this anti-vax plan would end vaccination requirements.
When it comes to the termination of a pregnancy, it is the law of this state and the policy of this government that is a matter between a woman and her doctor. It's not a choice to get vaccinated. You must get vaccinated.
In Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court recognized the woman's constitutional right to choose. Constitutional right to choose. I'm announcing that the Department of Labor is developing an emergency rule to require all employers with 100 or more employees to ensure their workforces are fully vaccinated. The right to make a deeply personal decision with their doctor, free from the interference of politicians. We'll sign an executive order that will now require all executive branch federal employees to be vaccinated, all. To rip away a constitutional right from the American people, which had never been done before, a fundamental right ripped away. If you want to work with the federal government and do business.
Those are the same people who ripped away your fundamental right of bodily autonomy. My body, my choice. They ripped it away. As they claim, other people have ripped away that right because they overturned Roe versus Wade. Nobody said I have to get an abortion or I can't go to work.
So let's get vaccinated.
A direct assault on the rights of women. So I'm going to argue to you that mandates work. It will certainly endanger the rights that women have had for decades in this country. A lot of those people made the decision because the mandate was there, and it was the thing that moved them. And what this court has done and the Supreme Court's inaction in every way appears to be unconstitutional. A lot of them were hesitant, truthfully. A lot of them needed some extra incentive. Reason now it's 94% of our public employees are vaccinated because of those mandates.
Condemnation of Roe versus Wade, actually probably the way that I would characterize it is the condemnation of the loss of a woman's right to choose.
The government has already mandated.
So women have a right to choose what happens to their body, just not when it comes to an experimental medical treatment. Isn't that interesting? So they don't believe in that. Not even a little bit do they believe that a woman has a right to choose what happens to her own body. They don't believe it. It's all lip service to get votes from women. They don't believe it. They're phonies, hypocrites, liars, and worse, they're the evil tools of Big Pharma. Willing.
The vaccination across workforces.
Just because you may hold a conservative position on an issue, whether or not that then gives you the right or the inclination to then remove another person's ability to determine their own position.
You basically see it as two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is. So, yep. Particularly when that position is whether they can determine their own health decisions.
Customers must be vaccinated, then so too must the workers.
And our approach is also grounded in the right of a woman to choose.
Government-imposed mandates were relatively limited. So health, education, defence, police, and those who are working around our border and MIQ spaces.
And so for me, it's a very simple concept.
Remember this? Remember when people used to say this?
My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice!
What about when it comes to an experimental medical treatment? Not your choice! Someone else's choice! The government's choice! Your body, the government's choice. Jeez. Wouldn't it be nice if people had that same kind of enthusiasm when it came to experimental medical treatments, bodily autonomy?
My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice! My choice!
And so I can forgive those people for being such psychopathic Nazis, which is what they were during COVID, and for slandering me and smearing me. And people, I take it very personal because it happened to me personally. I can forgive them. The thing is, they don't have dignity, nor do they have the integrity or the courage to admit that they were wrong. Those people are what they call wankers. They're not worth anything. Those people aren't worth anything. And a time came, just like Cornel West, like he likes to scream at the top of his lungs, I'm in solidarity with the workers. He's not in solidarity with shit. Because the time came for him to be in solidarity with workers, and he tucked his tail like a good little boy. He tucked his tail like a good little boy that he is, servant to the establishment, which is why he's lived in ivory towers his entire adult life. The time came for those people to stand up for workers and students and children and everybody else, and they didn't. They willfully stayed ignorant, uninformed, and did nothing to stand in solidarity with workers. 41% of black-owned businesses shuttered permanently during COVID. Cornel West couldn't give a fuck about them. 70,000 healthcare workers in one state alone fired. Cornel West couldn't give a shit about them. But if you bring it up, he will call you a Trumper. Those people are cowards. No dignity. No courage. Nothing. No integrity. Nothing. And if they did have that, they would have already apologized. And they have already made a mea culpa. They lack the thing you need for personal growth, which is an honest sense of self. You need to be self-aware in order to reflect and grow. And they aren't that, and they don't have the courage to do that. It takes courage. They don't have it. I had it. I bought into the propaganda at first. I apologized. I was wrong. I didn't look into it. I was afraid. And then as soon as I did look into it, I found out they were lying at every turn. And I felt I had to share this with my audience and anybody. I had to help people save themselves. And I did. And people come up to me all over the country and in Europe with tears in their eyes, and they shake my hand and they say, thank you. Thank you. You saved me. And I had people who shamed me for wanting to share what I found out, for wanting to share that they were being lied to. Still to this day, they do it. Over to Steph.
Canister, the thing people don't seem to realize about unsustainable lifestyle is that they're not able to be sustained. They're going to come to an end sooner or later, maybe sooner. Everyone acts blindsided and outraged. Jimmy, what do you make of Jordan Peterson now? That's an interesting question, Kit Kat was. Hold on, he's getting ready for the next one. Did you do the turtle and the hair interview yet? Yes, he did it on Saturday. Very entertaining. Jimmy better not cut his hair until after to even compete with the hair Hinkle. You got that right, F. Hasso. Jimmy Fligator said, sheep can be vicious. You are so right about that one. Comedy died from COVID-19. Teslin Joe, thank you, Teslin Joe. They still hate you. They still hate Aaron Rodgers. Don't worry about it. They hate themselves. They got poison in them. Wow, J Dude Bro. Never stop pointing out the naked emperor. Please have legal man from the Quash on. His message about the lies told about the Constitution was one that deserves to be heard. Well, thank you for that, Daft. I will share it with the team. Don't call them conspiracy theorists, Jimmy. That's an insult to conspiracy theorists. They're evidence-free hate mongers. Look at you, Vienticus. Thank you. All right, I read that one. Many children are taught to obey through fear. Then they don't automatically unlearn those lessons as they get older. This is a result of raising children through fear instead of love. Hannah, sir. I was told by some friends, hey, why do you still care? It was 2 years ago. Blew my mind. Flo, I see those comments like, they're like, oh, why are we talking about this? Because it matters.
What?
Yes.
People, why are you still talking about the Holocaust? Why do you still talk about World War II? Why are you still talking about Vietnam? Why are you still talking about Iraq? Why are you still talking about Afghanistan? So what's the cutoff time to talk about shit? 2 years ago? Why are you still talking about the OxyContin? Why are you still talking about all? It's just crazy.
Yeah, why? I think that answers your question there.
What's the cutoff to talk about shit? Because if you don't talk about it, it's going to happen again.
That's right.
Why are you guys still talking about slavery? Why do you guys still why do you need Juneteenth? Why are you still talking about it?
That's right. That's the list that you can wrap off to your friends the next time they say something like that. Your neighbor's choice sounds rapey, David said. Is Eve Neve is now monthly supported. Thank you, Eve Neve. U.S. COVID policy was basically let it happen, bitch. Chilly up. Jimmy, you are loved. I soon will join you being a voice to wake up people. Love wins. Mindful love. Mark J. Well, thank you, Mark J.
Okay.
There are some fugly people whom like to hide half of their face. Purple glue. Back to Jimmy.
Other Joy Behar? Oh, where? Oh, wait, I got it. Oh, go back to Steph.
Back to Steffi Z. How many stories we've done? 5. So I'm.
How about 4?
Yeah. So thank you. 4 o'clock. We're aiming for the premium streamium. So if you're watching and you're some of the people that have been selected to ask the question today, we're aiming for 4 o'clock. We did 5 stories so far. So Jimmy's going to try to get through 3 to 5 more stories. All right. The thing is, Jimmy, your audience already know this. The people who need to hear this are never going to, unfortunately.
Oh, believe me, a lot of them still watch the show.
They're still scared.
Believe me.
Watching TV news, ready to cuck for the next vaccine. Igor Tigor, no kidding, ready to cuck for the next one. Thank you for that one. Jimmy is forgive anyone who asks. Jimmy, forgive anyone who asks for forgiveness. Easy. That is. I welcome that. How
about Chomsky?
Let's see what the next one was. I hope she makes the right choice to reproduce. EJ, I wonder who you're thinking about on that one. Take your vaccines and mandates and shove them right up your ass. I organized co-workers against taking it, and it was working on procuring vaccine cards for anyone that wanted them. Fuck these monsters. Greasy N-word, thank you. Hi, little girl. We're going to get off of fossil fuels because they're running out. Have Chris Martinson on to talk about peak oil. Thank you for that one. Luckily, I was ahead of you on my journey and my family, and I didn't take the vax, but I love that you're spreading the message of truth, love from England. Bear me. Thank you. Back to Jimmy.
His jaw was not moving to the left. His upper neck on the right-hand side was irritated. That's moving great. Good boy. That's moving great. Good check. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Let's get another one. Okay. Let's check. Tone's a little better. I'm gonna check something real quick. His jaw was
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit
Isn't it swell? The memes make themselves. They found a rabbi hole, tunnels and all. There's Jews in the walls. Isn't it bliss? The rabbinical brace, soiling the mattresses. Well, let me tell you. If I were Rabbi Shmuley and diddle 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 digga digga diddle diddle dum, all day long I'd diddle little bums. If I were a Shmuley man, I'd peddle all my dildos, dreidel dildos, selling dildos with my daughter and her mum. If I were a Jewish Shmuley man, I'd be digging with a dildo in my bum. I'd wear a grotesque nose and go grab some goyim right on the nipple with a pinch. A Shabbos lap dance brace for the youngest mensch.
At this time, more than any other time, revolution is necessary. It is necessary. Not only based on what has happened with the MOVE organization, the babies that have been murdered, MOVE adults that have been murdered, bombs being dropped on us, but past that to what is happening with all black people, so-called minority people, money poor people. This government, as has been said earlier, has waged war on us. But something about us, particularly here in America, we don't really understand that. We don't really know what war is, for black people, for poor people, that people see as good, that they wasn't forced to do, that they didn't do to try to keep black people appeased, and calm down so that black people wouldn't riot. A prison situation is a crystallized example of that. You can make phone calls in prison. They have movies in prison, but they don't have those things because they just want to be nice to prisoners. They have those things because they know damn well if they don't have, people being able to contact their family, if they don't have, facilities for people to sit there and watch movies, people are going to be frustrated, upset, and they're going to direct that frustration at them prison administrators, and they're going to have riots on their hands. They're going to have people in them prisons turning them prisons out. That's why they have movies. That's why they have access to phones the way they do. And a stop to it when we don't like it, or encouraging it when it's something that's in our interest. We have to call the shots. The people have to take the reins of this system and start dictating what we need, what needs to be done. And, taking the initiative to do it ourselves. We can't rely on this system. Don't people see what's happening? Every single confrontation that MOVE people have been involved in, every single issue, oppression, economic issues, every single issue facing our people, is something that can be dealt with very, very simply. All people got to do is make their wishes known. All people have to do is stand up and say, listen, we're not accepting that. Unity is the key. Unity is the key to revolution. Revolution ain't nothing to be afraid of. It ain't nothing to shy away from. Revolution, contrary to what officials, this system and those backing the officials running this system, want people to believe that revolution means violence, means blood in the street. I'm saying it can get to that point, but it don't have to be violent. You know, when people come together and take a strong stand on an issue, this government don't have no choice but to listen. Where you think they get their authority from? They don't have no power, but they do have authority to do certain things. Where you think they get it from? They get it from us, from the people. You know, they get it from us accepting the things that they do to be done to stop it. Then you have some people who want to then turn around and say, yeah, well, you know, it's the best we have, and want to make excuses. The time for excuses is over. It's over. You know, every man, woman, and child has to be involved in this revolution. Not only has to be, but is, whether you want to be or not. I mean, our babies gave their lives for this revolution on May 13th. You know, men, women, and children were murdered. And not just babies, you know. What about all of the young men, women, you know, children 8, 9 years old shot down on the street by cops, you know, by drug pushers? I mean, you know, where do you think that mentality comes from? It comes from this system, from the mentality of this system of getting over, you know, making a quick buck, you know. I'm saying that's where that needs to be done to stop it. Then, you know, what I want people to really, really understand is that it's past time. It is past time for poor people, black people, you know, to realize that this system has failed you. It has failed you. You can't get nothing from it. And what people got to do is withdraw our support from it and start doing for ourselves. That's what we got to do. You know, how long are people going to sit back and beg, you know, this government to do what's right when for hundreds of years all you've gotten is a slap in the face? All you've gotten is this government kicking your ass. That's all. That's all black people have ever gotten from this government.